Everyone. I warmly welcome everyone to this webinar, which is the Deakin Pathway at APIIT. APIIT, in partnership with Deakin Australia, has recently launched a new program. Now, we believe this program fills a significant void given the current COVID pandemic situation. Basically, this program will allow Sri Lankan students to start their Deakin degree in Sri Lanka and then transfer to Deakin Australia to complete their degrees. So this is a great opportunity for students who are unable to go abroad at the current situation. They don't have to wait an extra year to start their education. Now, this opportunity also comes with a substantial cost saving based on the number of years the student will be here in Sri Lanka. To provide further information about this program, we have collected a number of eminent panelists and academics to give you additional information. Let me start off by introducing the panel. First of all, we have Dr. Elizabeth Manning, who is a senior lecturer with the Deakin Business School. Dr. Elizabeth, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, hello, and thank you very much, Dr. Harinder, for the introduction. And I'd like to say welcome, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. I know that it's a really important decision about what you're going to study and where you're going to study it. So I hope that we can help give you some information about the opportunities at Deakin. So I'm the Deputy Director of the Bachelor of Commerce at Deakin University in the Deakin Business School. I'm also a lecturer in economics. So I take the first year core economics unit that everyone doing a Bachelor of Commerce does. And also I lecture health economics and international trade as well. So I'll be very happy to any questions you have about the Bachelor of Commerce at Deakin.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Arash Shahigi, who's a lecturer and assistant professor with the Deakin School of Technology.
Thanks, Harinder. Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm a lecturer, assistant professor in cybersecurity at the School of IT. I'm also a member of cybersecurity course leadership team, and I'm also the South Asia coordinator for the School of IT. So I'll be mostly looking into or taking the questions or any question that anyone may have related to our Bachelor of IT offering and our special agreement with which essentially allows students to join Deakin after taking a one-year study in Sri Lanka. So looking forward to the questions and discussing this further today with you.
Thank you. Next, we have Professor Priyantha Kumaravadu, who is the head of the School of Computing at APIIT Sri Lanka.
Good morning, Harinder. Good morning, everyone. I think it's a very important situation here, because at this particular juncture, most of our international, Sri Lankan students find it very difficult to go to Australia, especially to Deakin. So therefore, I think this might be a very good opportunity for them to study here. So therefore, this is a very good opportunity for them to listen what to be done for their careers. And I'm the head of School of Computing at APIIT, and my background is so I've been teaching pretty much like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, those areas. And so I'm really glad to help you to explain how APIIT is providing all the support necessary for them to have a smooth transfer from APIIT to Deakin once they complete their studies at APIIT. Thank you, Harinder.
Next, we have Mr. Kaluarachi, Sarachanda Kaluarachi, who's the head of the business school here at APIIT.
Hello, everyone. Good morning from Sri Lanka. Now, my name is Kaluarachi, and better you call me Kalu because that's a long name.
Of course.
That's my favorite name among all my colleagues. Now this APIIT being here for 20 years of offering British degree, and we are very much capable of helping people who are joining whatever the degree program which is offered outside Sri Lanka, because international standard we have always familiar with. And my background is economics. I very much like to see Mr. Dr. Elizabeth because the same line, and I'm also economist. And my specialist area is economics and as well as basic statistics. I used to teach those two modules, apart from project management and other business related modules. So we are very much keen to help whoever joining our program to join Deakin pathway in near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kalu. And next we have Mr. Adrian Tor, who's the Partnerships Coordinator for Deakin University.
Thanks, Dr. Fernando. Hi, everyone. My name is Adrian. I am the Partnerships Coordinator for the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Built Environments. So today I'll be talking a bit about the student support services and experiences at Deakin University. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Mr. Peter Mayadune, who is the Director for Deakin International Sri Lanka Office.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Harinder and colleagues at APIIT. But my thanks to also colleagues who've joined in from Australia for providing your support here. Yes, as Harinder said, I work for the Deakin University Sri Lanka office, and incidentally, Deakin is the only Australian university that has a Sri Lankan presence. So we have a physical office here in Sri Lanka to help individuals like yourselves. If I could, and yeah, so we're a very small office with two other colleagues, and during your studies at APIIT, we look forward to catching up. That is once you start at APIIT. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So starting off, Peter, I'd like to give the first question to you. Now, I'm sure a lot of the people who are participating today are already aware of Deakin, but just in case, can you give us a brief introduction to Deakin University and also what exactly the Deakin office is?
Absolutely. So thanks for the question. So I think it's fair to say that Deakin is the most, Deakin is Sri Lanka's most favorite Australian university. And I say that because if you look at the last 10 years, Deakin has welcomed more Sri Lankan students to Australia than any other university. So it is to some extent a household name, and we're very pleased with that fact. Deakin, for those of you who didn't know, Deakin is in the state of Victoria, and we have 4 physical locations in terms of campuses. But then we also have the cloud campus, which is what nearly all of our students are currently enrolled in, given the pandemic scenario. For those of you who are interested in rankings, Deakin is a top 1% world university, but then the individual rankings for the different areas, be it business, be it IT, be it computer science, they are also very, very good. For instance, if I could just mention one of them, the business school has AASB, CSB accreditation, as well as the EQUIS, which is the European version of ASB. And so both of those accreditations, which is a stamp of approval that anywhere, whether you're applying for work or whether you're going to research, with those two types of accreditations, people will know that you have a quality a degree behind you. Other than that, Deakin has around 60,000 students, and quite, as I said before, quite a large Sri Lankan population. So it's, I think, fair to say that Deakin knows a great deal about the unique or specific needs of Sri Lankan students. So, and that's perhaps why many students choose to, or continue to choose to study at Deakin. Thank you.
Yes, can you also highlight what the Deakin Sri Lanka office is? Because as you mentioned, yes, Deakin is one of the few universities with a physical presence here. So maybe a bit of overview of that would help our participants.
Absolutely. So Deakin University Sri Lanka office, our main remit is really to work with colleagues such institutional colleagues such as institutions such as APIIT, We have other similar partnerships here in Sri Lanka. But then we also work with students and, of course, their parents in being able to facilitate that study abroad experience. So we have a physical office, and we do get parents and students dropping in to basically to get further clarification about Deakin's products and services. So, and apart from that, we do a lot of work in bringing together Deakin academics and institutional colleagues, very similar to what we're doing here. Throughout your time at APIIT, so you will actually have opportunities to engage with, say, Deakin academics, because we'll run guest lectures and so on. So those are some of the types of things that we do here at the Sri Lanka office.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter.
Welcome.
Kalu, now
Yeah.
I know you are one of the most senior academics here at APIIT. So I'd like to see whether you can give a bit of introduction about APIIT as institute to our participants.
Yeah, thank you, Harinder. Now, this is my 10th year at APIIT. So out of this 20 years of experience of offering international programs at APIIT, I have the experience of helping students and train the students for the international market. So with that background, the academic quality and the academic standards are one of our key trust area. So we believe in quality all the time. So that's why we believe in producing internationally accredited type of the students, those who can work any part of the world. So that's what we did for last 20 years. So so in order to come to, I'm focusing on the business school activities. Now, business school programs, I should say, so we always interact with the industry, and we keep on updating our curriculum to suit the market requirement. So, and our staff also, most experienced people, so they also work in the industry for some time, and then they incorporate some of their knowledge into the lecture sessions. So with that background, so I mean, think of Deakin University, how we can train students, or maybe ready students to go to the Deakin University in near future for the continue their education. So we are very much capable of doing that. So that's the guarantee that we can give from this end.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kalu. Professor Priyanta, could you give a brief now? This whole session is mainly about the Deakin pathway. Can you brief us about what exactly the Deakin pathway is and what it means, or the opportunity it provides for our Sri Lankan students? Professor, you are on mute.
Right, I'm sorry. Thanks, Harinder. Okay, so what we have, established as a partnership with the Deakin University as a, one of the popular and well-known university among our Sri Lankan students community. So what we do is like we allow our students to complete their first year of study here, and then transfer those students to Deakin University after the completion of the first year. And then once they complete the first year of study, so they will be able to continue their studies from the second year onwards to the degree. So if you look at this opportunity, I could see a lot of benefits for, especially for the parents and the students, especially under these circumstances where the COVID is not allowing students to go to Deakin. Now, our environment is pretty much like, as Kalu said, like pretty much like, quality oriented, with the correct support to the students to, continue their learning and engage in their learning. So therefore, once we do that, and the students will be able to transfer, and the entire first year would be, almost equal to the first year Deakin. So that is the advantage that the students are going to get. So if I look at the other aspect, benefits, now, of course, even in these circumstances, students do not want to wait to start their degree program. So they can simply come and start the degree, and then once they come to the first year, they'll be able to transfer to the second year. I think that is the main advantage that they're going to get. And just one more thing, and there's a cost advantage as well, especially for the Sri Lankan students. Now if they go and then they don't want to actually pay the international tuition fee at Deakin, but they can spend the local tuition fee and then complete the first year, and then they will be able to transfer. But they, of course, especially for the parents, I think there'll be a significant cost savings.
Yeah, we will follow up on that. I think that's a key area we need to discuss later down.
Yeah.
Now I think the whole point of the Deakin pathway at APIIT is to make sure our Sri Lankan students have the opportunity to start their Australian or Deakin degree as soon as possible. Now, of course, it's important that the students who make this decision have an idea about what Deakin offers. So I'd like to start off with Dr. Elizabeth Manning. Dr. Elizabeth?
Thank you. And is it okay if I share my screen then?
Of course.
Just because I will talk a little bit about the course structure and the majors that we offer, and also some of the accreditations associated with those majors. So let me just, oops. Sorry. And I'm going to share. Hang on. Oops. Let me just rearrange things.
Okay.
Sorry about this. All right, so can you see that okay? I've got the course structure up there now.
We can see it.
All right, and I'll just make it, oops, a bit, move it down a little bit. Okay, so one of the really nice things about the Deakin Bachelor of Commerce is that you do 8 core foundation units in your first year. And one of the advantages of that is that you get to try a little bit of a number of disciplines, and then that helps to inform your choice of the major you might want to do. So the course structure for the Bachelor of Commerce is that you will do 8 core units, core foundation units, and that's a bit of an accounting unit, an economics unit, marketing unit, finance unit, law for commerce, business analytics, management, and also a unit called professional insight. And the professional insight unit has a focus on employability. Deakin Commerce embeds employability right throughout the degree, and I'll talk a little bit later on if you would like me to about the work integrated learning that we offer as well, so that students are encouraged and have opportunities to undertake some work integrated learning. And I can talk about how we've managed that during the pandemic as well a little bit later, because of course students haven't been able to physically go to do internships or whatever, but we've actually managed to facilitate some online programs which have been terrific, very beneficial, and some of them have gone so well that we will, I think, continue to do some of those even when we can get more back on campus or face to face. So once you've done your 8 core first year units, then you have a choice of your majors. So Deakin offers 9 majors. So, for example, you can do a management major, for example, if you're interested in managing change, innovation and technology, globalization, quality service cultures and that sort of thing. Accounting, so degree helps you get some professional degrees like a major in accounting, which you can then get accreditation in. So accountants are information specialists. They provide information which becomes the basis for all review and decision and action through virtually every layer of business and government. Financial planning is another one of the majors. So financial planners specialise in key financial areas, including retirement, taxation, investment and estate planning. Marketing is about adding value to customer experience and building a relationship between buyers and sellers that benefits both. Economics, which is my area, and also Kalu's area. So if you're interested in a career in strategy or economic research or policy, and economists are employed in a whole range of industries, including finance. It could be in big banks, in international markets and trade, in health, very, very important at the moment, health economics, transport and the environment. So large corporations in governments for policy and advice and so on. Also finance is also about decision making, investments, do I buy, sell or borrow? Finance specialists research and analyse financial aspects of organisations and markets. Management information systems, so supplementing your business studies with knowledge of the underlying information systems that support modern business processes. Human resource management, also an important area at Deakin at the moment. People management, it's a fast growing field of professional employment. And our newest major is the food and agribusiness major. And that's, it's only been running for a couple of years, but it's in response to an increasingly important area around food security, food, fibre and agricultural supply chains, and into those interlinkages between food and agricultural market structures and so on. So that's a bit of a snapshot of the different majors that you can undertake. In terms of accreditation in industry, you can see here, and I won't run through all of them, but depending on the major you do, there are a range of different accreditations that you can get that your Deakin degree can enable you to achieve. So things like the Chartered Certified Accountants, the CPA, the Certified Practicing Accountants, Financial Planning Association, Institute of Public Accountants, all those different areas there. Yeah, lots of opportunities and essentially a chance to have a look at initially at what you're interested in, try a few things out and then go into that major and yeah, and follow your passion if you like.
Excellent. Elizabeth, quick question. Now, will a student who follows one of the specializations be able to apply for all of these accreditations, or does it vary by specialization?
It varies by specialisation. So it depends on, and I should have also added that as part of the structure back here, in your second year and your third year, you can actually, if you want to, choose two of those specialisations or majors. So a lot of students partner accounting and finance, for example, right, or finance and economics, or something that we're increasingly suggesting to students is choosing one specialisation or major, but then coupling that with a number of electives, possibly a minor unit, which is 4 units at second and third year level, and also possibly this professional practice minor, which means that you can do some you know, internships or work integrated learning as part of a minor, and that's something that is very important for employers because they get to know a bit about you, you get to know a bit about them, and you're getting some of those really important industry experience skills as part of your degree.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think the key important is that. Oh,
I stopped sharing. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So I think the key takeaway there is now the students who finish the first year here are able to choose any of those specializations because they start only from second and third year. So I think that was one of the key things we did. Yep. Kalu, so we will discuss a bit more in detail about that later on. Could you also mention a bit about the kind of job opportunities the students who follow these courses will have?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I haven't got my slides anymore. So the sorts of careers that you can look at, for example, I mentioned some of them for economists. So, you know, banks, government policy, corporations, advice, and that sort of thing. If you're interested in accounting, for example, then, you know, you can either go into a big corporation and we, as part of what we do in commerce is that we talk to those employers. I had a big review with one of a major employer for one of the big accounting firms just a few weeks ago, and they tell us what they're looking for in students. So those big accounting firms, or if you're interested, you could also start up your own little accounting firm. In finance, it's the same sort of thing. So if you're interested in financial planning, you can go into your own practice, or you can join some of the bigger organisations. There's career opportunities in governments, things like social and economic policy developers, marketing managers, management of organisations as well. So they're all the sorts of careers, and there are many more as well that a commerce degree can facilitate.
Right. And last, okay, I think we'll discuss about further opportunities, further study opportunities at the end. Okay, Asha? Dr. Arash?
Yep.
Can you give us a quick briefing about what the School of Information Technology has to offer our participants from a curriculum, from a degree perspective?
Yeah, sure. So I think I'll just go perhaps in a different way. I'll just start maybe pointing to the increasing demand that's actually waiting for the many graduates that we hope that will fill the gaps in the field of IT. And then I'll get, based on that, I'll move on to our offerings, because I think in that way it will make more sense to the students in terms of how and why we have structured our offering here at Deakin, if that's okay.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think. I mean, some of these stats actually I'm pointing
Dr. Arash,
to.
can you just maximize the slides? Then it'll be easier for our audience to see.
Yeah, sure. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, I would like actually to start saying that in Australia, we have a significant shortage of IT professionals in different areas such as cybersecurity, data science, software engineering, and this is across all the 19 different industry sectors. And all of these stats that I'm pointing to are actually before COVID and the transition to online for education, for work. So the demand it's now more than ever, and we need experts and graduates who can actually fill the positions and fill the shortage of skill that currently the market has. So these are some of the stats. So again, these are just before the COVID happened and with all the changes and the transition to online. So 100,000 more jobs that were expected in just a few years. But this is just not in Australia, as you can imagine. This is across the world, and information technology and computer sciences, it has the same sort of projection in the US. So
I think it's global. The demand for IT professionals is now a global demand.
Exactly.
Quite
I think it's the same. I mean, it doesn't matter which country you look at. It's the same. And some would say exponential. I hesitate because we don't have just the stats yet.
Yes.
So, but what makes our IT offering at Deakin unique? And well, the first is that you need to understand and appreciate an IT graduate needs to really be able to do hands-on work. It's not just about the theoretical knowledge. It's not just about knowing this formula or that equation. It's about delivering and actually doing the work. And for that, and just because of this specific, maybe unique aspect of IT, you need to, we have actually structured our courses as to be hands-on and as an experiential learning type, where essentially students from the very first day get to work on assignments that helps them to put the knowledge they gain into lectures or through the books into practice. And for that, we have fantastic equipments. We have state-of-the-art facilities and labs that are really unique. So we have labs for cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, robotics. Our IoT and robotics lab. It's a $1.2 million investment, and it's unique. And all of these labs are essentially, again, looking at how we see the industry and what sort of skill and knowledge we need to fill these positions. Remember, again, that we are not our focus here at Deakin is about that knowledge that you put into practice. So we have been looking at the emerging areas and the demand in the market, in the industry. And our courses and our units offering are essentially specifically aligned to that. So, for example, in the case of cybersecurity, as I mentioned, we have a dedicated lab, and it is one of our majors that I will be pointing to later on. But before that, for example, in Australia, we only have 7% of the cybersecurity expertise that we need. That's why the graduates find very well-paid jobs. So the average pay for a cybersecurity specialist or a consultant, which is really essentially your starting position, it's way above the average in the market compared to other fields and domains. Or our data science, or it's the same for data science. So if you look at the average pay for a data scientist in the market, it's way above the average engineering. It's the same for game development, AR, VR. So with all these changes that are happening so fast, there is an ever increasing demand for graduates in these areas. So I'll just actually from here just briefly jump to our website, because I think when I was applying for positions, and I've been an international student my entire life, I've been across three different continents as an international student. So I started in Italy, then moved to UK, now in Australia, and I've moved around as an international student. And I think when I was looking for deciding, which path I want to take, it's you attend the seminars, and the next step is finding the website and looking through this information on your own. So we have you can look at Deakin's website and just browse for our Bachelor of Information Technology and Deakin. Just Google it and you'll land here. And so I don't know if you want me to actually go through our specific arrangement with APIIT yet, or you want me to cover our course structure at this point?
I think we will not go into the course structure. It might take a bit too long. What we can do is
I'll just point to our majors then. So we have our course is really uniquely structured. So so you essentially do a couple of core units, which is generic knowledge that you want to have as someone who is doing an IT. But of course, our students will have preference, and there is something that probably they are more ambitious about. So we have a couple of major sequences that cover some of those areas that I've covered in my slides. So we have an application development major. We have creative technologies, cybersecurity, game design and development, networking, and cloud computing. So I personally think we've got you covered, irrespective of
pretty much
your preference, right? So happy to take more specific questions from the audience later on. But so I think that's probably a good start at this point.
Yeah, what we can do is we'll make sure the relevant links are shared with all the participants and the registration, so they can follow up on their own time. Next, Mr. Adrian, you are here. Can you,
Sure. Hi, everyone. Let me just share my slides with you.
So I think Adrian is going to focus a bit about the student experience our students will get at Deakin University, Australia.
That's correct. Cool. So Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, fantastic. So when
Adrian, if you can also maximize, it would be good for the audience.
Sure.
Thank you.
There you are. So when you first arrive at Deakin, everything can be a bit strange or foreign. You're in a foreign country, you're studying a new course in a new university. So at Deakin, we try to make the transition from APIIT to Deakin as smooth as possible. We begin with orientation week, and during that week, you have an international student welcome, where you have the chance to meet other students from around the world, and also the opportunity to meet with academics and get to know your teachers who'll be teaching your program for the remainder of the time. You'll be enrolling in units. And you have the opportunity to talk to a course advisor to discuss where you want to go in your program and what majors you want to specialize in and so forth. As you can see from Liz's and Arash's talks, both of our commerce and IT programs have quite a few majors. And if you're unsure which direction to go, they're there to support you. We have campus tours, library tours, information sessions on your course. There are study skill workshops. So there are some, if you're unsure on how to do research, how to reference, we have a lot of online or in-person workshops that you could take advantage of. We have social activities run by DUSA, which is the Deakin University Student Association. So if you are looking to participate in activities and make new friends, I highly suggest you at least visit DUSA and see what they can offer you and possibly become a member. And on top of that as well, we have Deakin Talent workshops, which run a few workshops on soft skills as well as, mostly soft skills on how to get yourself job ready. So for example, resume writing, cover letter writing, interview practices, it's all there to help you become job ready before you complete your degree. So, sorry, yeah?
No, go ahead.
Yep, great. So we also offer a peer support network program. So this is where students who have been at Deakin for at least a year act as mentors to new students. So it's an opportunity for you when you join the university to, again, meet new people, make new friends, but also hear from other students who have been in your shoes and get to know, what they wish they knew when they first started at university. So how this works is that there is one meeting per week, which goes for 45 minutes, and it's over the course of 5 weeks. And it's usually 1 to 2 mentors of a small group of maybe 5 to 10 students. And topics can range from anything from employability to just what things that are happening outside university. It's an opportunity for students just to, talk about what's on their minds and learn a bit more about possibly, employability in Australia or best study practices in Deakin. But yeah, it's just a great way to also have someone to go to and ask questions if you're unsure on what to do or who to talk to. So this is available to you as soon as you commence Deakin, and for both Faculty of Science, Engineering, Built Environment and Business and Law. So I do highly encourage you, when you do come to Deakin, sign up for the Peer Support Network program. And even if you don't get anything out of the sessions, it's just a great networking opportunity.
Yeah, I can actually vouch for that because I was part of that when I was at Deakin.
Oh, fantastic. And did you become a mentor?
Yes, I was a mentee and mentor, both for peer support and the international student support.
That's fantastic. And I guess a lot of the mentors were mentees themselves, and it's a great way to just give back. And yeah, again, and I'm guessing that you wanted to be a mentor because you wanted to give back, and you know what it felt like to be a new student.
Yeah, and you know exactly what they're going through.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Dr. Fernando. As I mentioned before, Deakin Talent. So Deakin Talent is a careers and employment service that Deakin offers. So it is a branch of Deakin. There are a lot of programs and services available around career coaching, career success workshops, resources, and employer events. So employer events include Employer Expo. So twice a year, there are a whole bunch of employers and companies come on campus, and they have stalls, and students have the opportunity to walk up and have a chat to them, ask them questions, and network. It's just a great way to put yourself out there, as well as the companies and employers have an opportunity to promote themselves to you. The services at Deakin Talent are available as soon as you enroll. So with any workshops they run, whether it be the resume writing workshop or interview practices, that's available to you when you join. So even if you're not looking to work until after you graduate, even if you're just looking for part-time employment in Australia, it's a great way to learn what the best practices are, and just get in touch with people who may be able to guide you through how you can find a part-time job, or how you can find graduate employment once you graduate. And also, once you graduate as well, this Deakin Talent service is still available to you even after you graduate. Yeah. There's also workshops specifically for international students. I won't go into too much detail, we're running out of time, but yes. Australian employment market and Australian workplace culture is very different to what you might experience in Sri Lanka. So just getting to know a bit about the differences there, it just will be great. And that's all I wanted to share. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adrian. I think that will help our participants to understand the amount of support they will receive at Deakin. And just to clarify, even the students who finish the first year with us and join Deakin in the second year will have access to all of these facilities and support mechanisms. Yes. Okay, I think now we will continue on and get a better understanding of what APIIT plays, what the role APIIT plays in this partnership. So starting off, can I have Professor Priyantha to explain a bit about what our first year offering is and basically the part of the APIIT pathway, what we offer to our students or the Sri Lankan students?
Right. Actually, if you look at our program, so as a School of Computing, so we are offering the Bachelor of Computer Science program for the students, and then so if you look at the specialties, we have a General Computer Science program, and also we have other specialties like cybersecurity, the cloud computing, software development, etc. So we have about 6 programs that our students can come and do. And then now what happens here is like, we just look at the partnership that we are having right now. So the students who are coming to our programs, then the students will do Bachelor of Science Computer Science. And in the first year, once they complete the program, so they will be able to transfer to the Bachelor of Information Technology program at Deakin. So so therefore, like, so I think according to our understanding, as we discussed earlier as well. So once they complete computer science first year at APIIT, and the students will be able to transfer to many other disciplines of the Bachelor of Information Technology Deakin at Deakin. So therefore, pretty much like we in the first year, so we have 2 semesters, and in these 2 semesters, so the students will be able to complete the program, the courses or the modules which are equivalent to the modules in the first year of the Deakin, and then so you'll be able to smoothly transfer to the Deakin program.
Okay, Kalu, can you just brief a bit about what the business school has offering for the Deakin pathway?
Okay, let me share the one with the slides which I let it work. Mine is disabled. Can you just, or shall I explain it?
If you can.
Host disable participant screen sharing. But anyway, all right. If not, I can explain it. No issue. Harinda, can I just explain it?
Yeah, go ahead if you can.
Okay.
Do you need the slides? I can try.
No,
and
that's
get
okay.
that.
That's okay.
No,
That's okay.
that will go ahead now.
We can explain now. APIIT point of view, one of the greatest program that we have is a BSc Honors International Business Management. That is one of our main attraction for students in Sri Lanka. So the students who are joining this program, BSc Honors International Business Management program, the first year we are offering 8, of course 7 modules, but it's of course 8 modules. So the modules are maybe starting from business agility, that's for the operations management, economics for managers, management accounting, then the human capital management, which is HR, entrepreneurial marketing, and the law for managers. That is the first year degree, first year modules, and which will be supported with another module, professional toolkit, where we develop the students' soft skills, communication skills, writing skills, and of course they are supposed to develop their personal development plan for the future. That's the module structure that we have, operations management to economics to econ. So it's a whole the background information, background knowledge what you need for people who are studying in any business management program to follow the modules. And our approach in offering these modules, we always believe in student engagement. So we have a proportion, maybe 36 hours of lecture inputs plus 114 hours of student engagement. We learn a lot of students are there to learn through a lot of activities. So our blended, different kind of teaching techniques. So we apply even from the first year onward. And we believe students, the presentation skills, writing skills are critical in future development of their study. So that's our main focus during the first year. So people who have gone through the first year modules, now we always believe in industry participation. So we always try to bringing in industry experts to talk to the students how they can apply some of the things what we do. Maybe it's too mature for them the first year, but we give them the opening of, okay, what is the industry sector is expected from you all. So that's the industry talks are incorporated most of our modules. Now, of course, another thing. So of course, with the COVID period, we can't do that, but we take our students to industry for industry visits. Those are the main areas that we offer our students. Yeah.
Right. So just we have a few questions in chat, so I'd just like to respond to those. So basically, with the APIIT Deakin pathway at APIIT, how it works is the students will enroll for our first year, the degree, our normal degree here for the first year, meeting as long as they meet our entry criteria, they can enroll. Once they have enrolled, they will follow the first year here, and then at the end of the first year, they are able to transfer to Deakin, Australia, and there they can pick any of the specializations that Deakin offers, because the first year covers kind of the core foundation, and then the specializations will happen at Deakin. So it's very straightforward, and for people who want to join the Deakin pathway, they can contact APIIT, the counselors, and ask to be registered as one of our students in one of the upcoming intakes. We will go into the details of the dates exactly in a while, but I just wanted to make it clear so everyone understand what is the kind of very straightforward way to enroll onto the Deakin pathway. Now, I also want to mention now, once they enroll onto the Deakin pathway, for whatever reason, if they cannot go to Deakin, whether it's due to the COVID situation continuing or whether it's due to financial issues, is there a mechanism for them to complete and get a degree, Professor?
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yeah, Harind, actually, that is a good question, actually. So I think we have been discussing with the Deakin University to offer not only the first year, even the second year, is possible. Like, so therefore, if in case, like, if this situation continues, if a student wants to stay in Sri Lanka and continue to do the Deakin degree, of course, there is a possibility. There may be a possibility in the future now. So our next intake is going to be starting next week, and then Monday next week, and then of course, so the students who are really willing to consider this pathway, and then if they are not available for this intake, of course they will be able to start the coming intake in February, March.
Yes, February, or I think maybe end of January we have the next intake. So due to the COVID situation, we have one intake that is happening next week, and then the next intake will be end of January. So it's only a short while.
Yeah, actually, Harendra, I think Peter can talk about the other sort of arrangements that the Deakin students, not only the students who are planning to register with us, but the currently registered, that APIIT is actually willing to provide them some learning assistance. I think Peter might be able to help us on that.
Right, we will come to what the Sri Lankan office offers. Before we wrap up about the APIIT end, can we also get a bit of understanding about the cost savings that are associated with the Deakin pathway?
Yeah, certainly. Actually, if you look at the cost associated now, even if your students register with APIIT, so they don't want to pay the first year tuition fee, international tuition fees to Deakin, so they can only pay the APIIT tuition fees, which will be almost maybe a very small amount compared to the tuition fees that they have to pay to Deakin International. So therefore, it's substantial. I would say it's about 40,000, roughly about 40,000 Australian dollars saving for the parent.
That is including the cost of living in Australia.
Exactly. So therefore, it will be a substantial cost saving for the students.
Not to mention the amount of time they'll save by starting the degree now itself, rather than waiting.
Start, and they don't want to waste the time. They can immediately start, and once the things are things are okay and then clear, so then they will be able to transfer to Deakin.
Okay, Peter, can you also explain a bit about how we ensure the smooth transfer of the credits from the first year here when the students are transferring? Because that's always an important question. Do I have to do a lot of work to get Deakin to accept my learning at APIIT?
Absolutely, and that is a valid question. But the good news is that transfer process is very much a smooth transition, simply because those conversations between APIIT and Deakin, the faculties, have already taken place. So the credits have already been agreed upon. Having said that, once a student completes at APIIT, they will still have to submit an application to Deakin University. And once again, our colleagues at the Credit for Prior Learning Office, or the CPL office, they will actually go through the application and confirm the credits that have been offered. But given that there has already been, there is a prior agreement, it is a much smoother transition.
Right. And of course, Deakin office or the Deakin Sri Lanka office also assists students in that mechanism.
Yeah, we can certainly assist with that scenario. However, I mean, students do not have to come to us. There are many avenues within Sri Lanka where they can get a third assistance from a third-party provider, or perhaps work with colleagues at APIIT to facilitate that process.
Okay. So Peter, continuing on, can you also tell what are the additional kind of support the Deakin office provides to Deakin students, or the students who will sign up for the Deakin pathway at APIIT? In addition, of course, to the teaching and learning and everything that's provided by APIIT.
Absolutely. As Mr. Sarachandra mentioned, he mentioned that during your studies at APIIT, you will have some exposure to industry experts who come in and do guest lectures and so on. So one of the things that we do in close collaboration with colleagues at APIIT, as well as other institutions here in Sri Lanka, is we bring together our academic colleagues from Deakin University to provide those guest lectures. And the primary objective of doing this is so that for anyone studying at APIIT on a Deakin pathway, they get to sample what it is like to actually be on campus and be studying at Deakin University. Right. So that's what we're trying to do, as well as given COVID, a few things have been disrupted, but then we also work with APIIT-like institutions on mobility programs and so on, where students have some engagement with Australia-based students. That's not possible given COVID, but then we are increasingly looking at virtual engagement with students on both sides, those students who are in Sri Lanka as well as in Australia.
So what you are saying is that even though they'll be studying at APIIT, there will still be a transition that takes place even during the first year to get them used to the Deakin setup.
Absolutely. I mean, we want the students to feel like they are on the way to Deakin. So we want them to be able to sample some bits and pieces about Deakin. So as you say, once they do transfer, it'll be a smoother transition for them. They will feel like they know some things about Deakin, prior to arriving in Australia.
Okay, everyone. I think we are now kind of running out of time. So I have just one final area to cover before we open up for the Q&A. So I think, again, Peter, you might be the best person, and maybe Professor Priyantha also, to give input on this. Now, with the COVID pandemic, there's a lot of changes happening, even from the Australian perspective, how students are accepted. Can you just give a bit of perspective on how this will help, this program, the Deakin pathway at APIIT, will help students navigate this turbulent time?
Professor Priyantha, would you like me to start first?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So that really is a valid question, and perhaps concerning for parents. So, given the COVID environment, what's been put in place is really two options for Sri Lankan students, and one of the options is obviously for them to start their studies at APIIT and then transfer to Australia, say in a year's time, right? So that's one of the options. The other option is for students to start at Deakin, but via Deakin Cloud, which is an online learning platform, and then continue on that program until the borders open and then transfer to Australia. So those are the two avenues that are available for Sri Lankan students. If I could also touch on something that Professor Priyantha said earlier. So if any of you are wondering what happens if I complete my studies at APIIT and then I'm not able to travel to Australia because the borders are still closed in a year's time, which is very unlikely, but I think it's also good to look at the worst case scenario and prepare ourselves as best as we can. So in that scenario, and this hasn't been decided yet, but we are actually exploring the opportunities of those students enrolling in Deakin Cloud. However, for APIIT to be providing some study support as a value add. Deakin Cloud is it's a fantastic, sophisticated system because Deakin has been offering online teaching for many years, more than a decade. But what we're looking at is exploring the possibility of APIIT offering those students some study support on top of the support that they would get from Deakin Cloud. This is still at exploratory stage. Nothing's been decided, but that's something that we're looking at. But it is very unlikely that from a year from now, when you would complete your APIIT studies, that the borders will be still closed.
Yeah,
excellent. That's good.
I think so. Yeah, I think that is what we have been discussing. Actually, that will be a good opportunity for students, even though if this continues, right? On the other hand, I think one of the important things, of course, the Kalu also addressed, like the study support and the mentoring that should happen for these kids, like because these kids are planning to study here and then transfer. So I think we can guarantee that the required support and the help and the assistance and the mentoring, the learning support happens at APIIT. And also the facilitate the transfer, smooth transfer.
Excellent. That's good to know, because that adds a bit of confidence to anyone who's not sure how long this global pandemic will continue. And I think now we are running out of time. So I'd like to open up the panel to any questions that the attendees might have. There was already a few which I answered in chat and on using voice as well. But is there any other questions that any of the attendees have that they would like clarified?
So Harinder, just while giving our attendees the time to write down, type down their question, to follow up on what Peter said, our online offering has been around for 40 years. We're really proud of it, and we are ranked in the most recent ranking on online education. We've been ranked in the top 10 in the world. So just thought to share those facts, which might be of interest for our for the students or attendees here.
Yes, that's good to hear. So there's another question. One person wants to know whether we will be getting a recording of the webinar. Yes, this has been recorded and we will be sharing the link. It might take 1 or 2 days, and we will be sharing the link with all the people who have expressed any the registration, the people who registered, as well as any other people who have sent any queries regarding the Deakin pathway at APIIT. That link will be coming in the email. Okay, so there's a question. Are there any specific subjects to be studied at A-levels to enter the computer science degree? Professor, would you like to take that, please?
Actually, so we are taking students from all the disciplines, but provided that the students have to have C pass in their O-levels, and then C pass in English mathematics, in addition to the general the requirement of like 3 S passes and advanced level.
So it's basically 3 S's at A-levels plus credit passes at maths and English at O-levels.
Correct.
In addition, they can opt to do our foundation program, which is an 8-month program, and then continue on to the first year of the degree. There is also a question about the full fees of the Deakin pathway. So for the Deakin pathway, basically the first year payments will be the APIIT tuition fee. And then from 2nd and 3rd year, it will be the Deakin international student fee. If you want the specific exact amounts, you will have to contact our counselors. They will give you the exact breakdowns and fee structures. But as Professor mentioned previously, doing the Deakin pathway will roughly give you about a 40,000 Australian dollar saving on doing all 3 years at Australia, which is a significant saving. Will there be postgraduate program with integration of Deakin and APIIT apart from degree level? So currently, no, we do not have. Currently, we don't have any master's degrees offered in conjunction with Deakin degree, but that is something we are exploring. There will be promotions on that if it is approved. I complete diploma. What are the available top-up degrees? That we will need to see the transcripts of your diploma modules, Chaturanga. Then only we can decide what are the areas you can transfer into for the 3rd year. Okay, any other questions? So I think it looks about all, and we are also 7 minutes behind schedule. So I'd like to thank everyone who, all of our eminent panelists.
Harinder, just a quick, sorry to interrupt, mate. Just to remind everyone that the Deakin Sri Lanka office is going to work with the APIIT counsellors on Friday and Saturday. So if you want detailed information about, if you do have any more questions, if you perhaps have a chat to your parents also, If you do have detailed questions and you want us to speak with you individually, that opportunity is there on Friday and Saturday. And perhaps, Harinder, should they get in touch with the APIIT hotline to get further
actually what
about
we
that?
will do for all the leads and the registrations, we will send the email, wrap-up email with the web link as well as the Zoom meeting times and all that, for if they want to contact the Deakin office for any follow-up questions. Yes, thanks for reminding me about that, Peter.
No worries.
Yeah, so that looks about it. So I want to thank all the panelists who have taken their time, 1 hour of their valuable time, to come and brief our potential students and their parents about this unique pathway. So I think to wrap up, what we need to take away is that even though there is a global pandemic, that is not a reason to put your studies on hold. And that is why APIIT and Deakin has taken this kind of opportunity and initiative to offer a very unique pathway that will allow students to start their degrees without wasting any time. And in addition to that, they will also be able to study from the comfort of their home country for an additional year and also get a significant cost savings. So with that, I think I'll wrap up. Thanks everyone, and thanks to all the attendees who listened. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.